tonight is going to be kind of Dotloop next level, more advanced than usually we cover the basics in the onboarding Zoom. So this is just going to be a couple extra key features, maybe help speed up some of the transactions that you're doing. So the first thing that could help with your transaction speed is this people tab. So I know in our onboarding, we cover templates, which is where all the forms are. Loops is just kind of our dashboard, but the people section is where we can connect with our different service providers. So if our clients ask us, hey, who's a good lender, or who's a good title company, we can set those up in Dotloop already and just hit share. So it's a lot easier. So you can do, let's see, like set up the title. So I added 2. So you can add them. You can just hit add, put in their name, email. You can already see that there are some people on here that have already created accounts. So they might be good to reach out to if you need to network with other professionals. They're also used to Dotloop. So you can add them, then you hit add. And then if I go back and pull up 123 Main Street, now when I add those providers, they pop up down here. So you can click on them, you can hit the plus button, it can hit request info. So that's ways that you can add people, different service providers, just to help you out during your transaction. The second thing I wanted to cover real quick on this is it's called clauses. So in our purchase and sale agreement, sometimes with agents, they get a little crazy with these special stipulations, and they add just terminology and whatever else that can be confusing or whatever else. So to avoid that, we can create clauses, just pre-built text that automatically can populate in those forms. So common ones in the purchase and sale agreement is like an escalation clause, where the buyer agrees to pay $1,000 over the next highest offer. Or the other one, a common one, used to be the appraisal gap clause, where, hey, if it appraises for $250, we'll pay $3,000 over that up to the purchase price. They did add the new form for that, but still different clauses do pop up. And so if I go to my templates section and I come down here to clauses, so we have 3 pre-built right now, and we'll keep adding more. But here's that example where I said escalation clause, appraisal gap, contingent on the sale of selling the buyer's home. And then to find more ideas, and you can create these within your own account, you can go to tar forms and then additional contract language. So these are the different things that you can add to your clauses. That way you don't have to remember, hey, what was the exact wording of that? Because this way we're using wording that attorneys have already approved and screened versus us just kind of creating our own clauses and terminology. So seller's right to find suitable housing, bankruptcy pending, there is all sorts of stuff on this 6-page document. But these would be good if you find yourself writing the same thing over and over to go ahead and add those. So I can even do, like, let's add a clause, let's add the new office address, just in case it isn't in one of the forms and I don't feel like typing it out every single time. So I can do suite 2E. 10. So I can hit add, and now there's no save, but as soon as you add it, it saves it automatically. So I go back to my loops. I go back to 123 Main Street, go to my purchase and sale. Let's go. Selling company. So it populates already as I start typing out that clause, it populates it automatically. So then it saves me time. Or if I go to my special steps and I type in appraisal gap, pops up. The other way you can do it, if you're like, hey, I can't quite remember what it was, if you click on your box and then you hover up here, add clause, it pulls up all your clauses. So then you can just click, I need escalation, add, and then it automatically adds it. That way you don't have to remember them. So that's the clauses feature within Dotloop. The next thing would be templates. So when we get that listing, there's so many things going on. We got to put up our sign, we got to put up our lockbox, we got to schedule professional photography, we got to put it into the MLS. So instead of trying to remember everything, we can systematize everything to have a consistent product and a consistent result every time we list a property. So that would be creating a task list. Now, what we do is we have the listing templates already populate these tasks, but you can fully customize it further if you need to. So again, to do that, you would go to templates, you can go to tasks, and then now you can create your own task. If you're like, hey, I want to create my own task list, and I will title this closing day items. Create task list, and I will say transfer utilities and schedule movers, and then pick up keys. So you can keep going through, add all these different tasks. And then if I go back to my loop, 123 Main Street, you can hit add task list. Nope, I lied. Load template, and then closing day items. So add, and now it populates that task list for me, and I can assign it. So if I need to assign it to a certain day, I can also start adding it to my clients. If I'm like, hey, by this date, you should be doing this. So it says assign to, and I can add Taylor as if she was the buyer. But this is just a helpful way to do the same thing every single time and create that perfect process. So, and then once you're done, you can just check them off and it kind of grays it out. So that's the task feature. The last feature, and what this is doing is when we want to share documents to the other agent. And so to do this, there's several different ways to do this. But let's say, for example, we draft up our document and we want to send over this contract to the listing agent. Well, of course, we can do our standard share, and we can type in the listing agents, John Smith at gmail.com, whatever his name is, and then listing agent. And now we can give him access to view only. We can also attach a PDF to the email. So when John gets this email, it'll be an email from Dotloop. It'll say, Zach Rice has shared a purchase and sale agreement with you. Please review. If I click this, it'll add a PDF of whatever I've sent him to that email. However, the only thing is when you share it like this and you don't attach it, whenever John has opened up the document, you can come over here to the three buttons and hit history of that document. And it'll show when John Smith has viewed the document. So the only negative when you attach as a PDF, as well as sharing it, is you don't get this view document if he only looks at the PDF. So it's just good practice. If you're sharing the documents, most of the time I don't check that attach PDF. That way I can have a copy of whenever he's viewed the document, just to help further protect myself legally. And if there was any disputes later on, I have proof that, hey, you viewed the document on March 3rd at 11:52 Central Time. So those are kind of 4 quick things to help you with kind of level 2 Dotloop. Hope that helps you guys out. And let me know if you guys have any more questions with Dotloop.